Okay, I'm going to show you just a quick overview of sort of how I built my homemade camper. You can see it sitting there on my 2004 Dodge Dakota. I tried to make this camper as light as I could, and it ended up being around 630 pounds with nothing in it, fully loaded with all my gear and water. It weighs around 900 pounds. I didn't take a lot of pictures, unfortunately, when I was building it, but I'll give you a quick view of sort of what I did. First of all, I basically mocked up on the back of the truck the dimensions of the camper. Just tried to make sure that it wasn't going to be too big or hang off the back, and that the weights were in the right place. So you can see here basically just a full sheet of plywood on the side there. It's just actually door skin, 3/16 door skin, and then just framed it up inside that, and I'm just starting to work on the front of the camper. My dad's giving me a hand there. We just basically built this with simple tools, just cordless drills, skill saw, hand tools, nothing fancy. But basically you can see there it's just a sort of like a framework with the door skin covering it. And the only real plywood in this whole camper was on the sides for where the jacks were going to attach, and any sort of structural points. And I actually built the camper in two parts. You can see here, this is the base that would actually fit into the truck bed. This piece here is plywood on the base, but not on the top. And in between there's about 1.5 inches of insulation. And like you can see on the walls here where I put the uprights, there was insulation inserted into those gaps before I put the inner skin on. And it's basically just 1 inch by 1.5 inch cedar strips that basically outlined inside the door skin there to give you that sort of gap for the insulation to go in. And here I'm just got the two pieces together, and then I took them back apart so that I could work on the top half, make sure that it was square, had it all braced up. And then once I got that done, I put the bottom back on and started to work on the interior. And it's nice to have two people when you're doing something like this, just because you always need someone to hold something for you or measure or whatever. My dad helped me out a lot with this camper. Here you can see it's together, and we started to mock up the interior. I've got the one wall in there for the bathroom. The ceiling's on with the material. There's nothing other than material and the foam in the ceiling, and then the outer skin. And then I started to put the inner skin on. You can see the front there. I've started to skin that, and then I'll be putting the insulation into the next panel there. Underneath the bunk is also 1.5 inches of insulation. And then I started to mock up things like the fridge and the stove and the counter. And any sort of storage compartments that I wanted to have in the camper. And then once I had that sort of mocked up, I could continue to work on the skin of the camper and get all the insulation in. Once that inside was sort of set and I knew what I was doing with it, I actually put the fiberglass on the outside. Fiberglass the whole camper with 1/2 ounce mat. So it was just one piece fiberglass, so it wouldn't ever leak. Basically the only holes in the fiberglass is the windows and the roof vent. Other than that, everything is just fiberglassed up, so that I didn't want to make sure I didn't have any leaks when I was done. And you can see that here at the back I've got the doors ready to go. And I put that little lip at the top there to sort of keep water off. And the roof line is actually bowed so that the water runs off to the sides, and I've got a little gutter that runs down and it just drips out the back of the camper there. Here's just a quick little video that I made halfway through. You can see the bathroom there and the countertop and the fridge. The window was in, and pretty much everything had sort of been mocked up on the inside at this point. I had got all the inner sheeting in and all the insulation and all the cubby holes and things like that. Just really had the sort of finishing work at this point to do. At this point too, I also did all the electrical work for the lights and the plumbing and all the any sort of electrical that needed to be done, so that it could be all hidden behind any trim, but still accessible if I ever needed to change anything. And then once I had that done, basically you can see here is what it looked like in the end. I put all the trim on, urethaned, just the door skin. No, didn't paint it or anything. Just wanted to make it look very natural looking. So on this side you got the sink and the stove and a couple cupboards up top, and then on the other side is the table, which does spin around so that you get moves out of the way, and then when you turn it around you can actually see 3 to 4 people at the table. And then you'll see at the bunk up front, it is 6'2" by 6'2", so you can sleep north, south, or east, west, and just folds out of the way when you don't want to have the bunk there, as you can see on my inside video that I've posted as well on YouTube. And here's the view facing towards the back. On the left hand top you can see there's just the covered space up there. There's a light on the back door or back wall, which is where the bathroom is, and the stove and the sink. And then up top I've got the storage space for just dry goods, put the cans and you know, chips and stuff like that up there. Try to keep the stuff light up there just because it's just a door skin base and it can't carry a lot of weight, but it does for what we need it for. And then again on the right hand side you can see the stove, and I've got the actual cutout for the sink there. I have a piece that drops into that to give me more counter space, so that you can utilize the whole counter. It's just a 3-way fridge that I use, 12 volt, 120 volt, or propane, just out of an older camper. I think it's like from a 70s camper, but it works well. Keeps everything cool, even in 30-degree summer days. And then at the back on the left, I've got just a one-piece toilet, something that my wife really wanted. Just when we go out back roads camping, you don't have a outhouse or anything, so it's nice to have that. And here you can see I've actually fiberglass or gel coated the outside, and I had these tripod jacks when I first got the camper, but then actually switched those out because I didn't like them. They just were too much to carry in and out of the camper and stuff, so I switched them out for these hydraulic jacks I got off another old camper. And there you can see my truck. I'm just going to back it underneath now, and you can see there it is, all in one piece. And anyways, thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you like my videos, and comment if you have any questions. All right, thanks.